So this is Honors Algebra 2, Mrs. Kranz. Emma, can you see me? Hope everybody's well. It's a video for Honors Algebra 2. I don't know how you're feeling. Perhaps lazy. Mr. Leo's lazy. Zoe's normally not lazy, but she's lazy right now. Today, Honors Algebra 2, Mrs. Kranz. We are going to work on one of the four conic sections. Hopefully the one you're really familiar with, which is a parabola. Okay, this is chapter 10, section 2. I'm either going to post this on April 8th or perhaps April 9th. So we're going to go through each day for 4 days, 4 different conic sections. All right, the first one is the parabola. Hopefully you're pretty familiar with it. I'm going to run through a bunch of problems. It looks like 11, hopefully. But first off, each conic section is going to have a definition, right? That's very, very similar. All the conic sections are going to have a definition similar to this. So here's really what a parabola is. It's a set of all points in a plane, right, such that every point in the plane is the same distance from a fixed point, F, called the focus, and a fixed line called the directrix. Okay, so here's a picture right here. You've got the parabola, vertex 0, 0. You have a point inside the parabola, what I call inside the parabola, right? It's the focus, the focal point, right? Then you have a line, in this case, since the parabola points up, underneath it called the directrix. All right. Every time we do a parabola now, when we graph it, we're not only going to graph the parabola, we're going to graph the focus and the directrix. Focus is a point, the directrix is a line. Okay, so here's the definition. Set of all points in a plane. I'm going to pick any point. I'm going to call this point P. All right, such that if this is a perfect parabola, right, the distance from that point to the focus, say that's 6, okay, right, is the exact same distance from that point down to this fixed line called the directrix, 6. So these distances are both the same, okay, and that works for any point on this parabola. If I pick this point over here really close, all right, if this distance to the focus is 3, then this distance down here to the directrix is also 3, okay? That's the meaning of this definition, okay? Now, conic sections are going to get a little bit confusing, I'd say, because there are a lot of formulas, okay? The parabola formulas you should be pretty familiar with from chapter 4, okay? Vertex form, y equals a parenthesis x minus h parenthesis squared, quantity squared, plus k, all right? The vertex is hk, all right, hk. Standard form, y equals ax squared plus bx plus c, okay? They share an a, but that's it, all right? So how do you get the vertex when you're in standard form? The vertex is, you know it, negative b over 2a, which is part of the quadratic formula. Then you get that number and you plug it in. So the notation for that is f of negative b over 2a. That gives you the x value of the vertex, vx, and the y value of the vertex, vy. Okay? All right. If you have an equation, y equals a parenthesis x minus h squared plus k, if the a number is greater than 0, meaning it's positive, the parabola is going to point up. Okay. If it's less than 0, you know that it points down. Okay. This right here is all review. Okay. The new part on these parabolas are going to be getting this focus point, getting this directrix line. Okay. Now, let's take a look at this picture. All right, here I've got a parabola pointing up, okay? The vertex could be anywhere. It could be 0, 0. Okay. I'm going to say that this vertex is not at 0, 0. It's at HK. Whatever this distance h is, whatever that distance k is. Okay. Could be 4, 2 or something like that. All right. Going to this one, though, I'm going to go back here. All right. The vertex here is 0, 0. Okay. There's going to be a new letter associated with both the focus and the directrix, and that is a C. Okay. Now, I don't want you to confuse it with this C. This C in standard form is, hopefully you remember, the y-intercept. Okay. 0C. This C is something totally different. And actually, a lot of math books call it a P instead. But yours calls it a C, so I'm going with C. All right. C, not this C. This C is the distance from the vertex either to the directrix or the vertex to the focus. That'll be the same distance. So this distance happens to be 2. That distance is also 2. All right, so I'm going to write this down here. C is the distance from the vertex to the focus, and it's that same distance that's from the vertex to the directrix. Okay. C is associated with the focus and the directrix. Okay. Now, what if your vertex is not at 0, 0? Right. If it's at 0, 0, your focus is just like 0, negative C if it points down, or 0, positive C if the parabola points up. Okay. And then the equation of the line for the directrix would be either y equals c if the parabola points down, or y equals negative c if it points up. Okay. Now, what, though, are we going to do if the vertex is not at 0, 0? Okay. Where would the focus be? All right. Where would the directrix be? Well, we're going to figure that out. Okay. The focus is going to be at H, comma. Now, where is this focus point up here? You go K up, and then remember this distance here is called C. All right. So the focus will be H, comma, K, either plus or minus the C number. Okay. Now, if I say minus because if the thing points down, if the parabola points down, you're going to minus C. Okay. And then your directrix, in this case, would be this line here at y equals either K plus C or K minus C. Okay, those will match. Lastly, A is related to C. All right. This is inverse variation from last chapter. Okay. A is 1 over 4 times C. A and C are inversely related. Okay. So we'll see how the A number relates to where the focus is and the directrix are. All right. So I know it's a lot of formulas, and I'm going to give you this sheet filled out, but these are the formulas that we use if the parabola points up or down, which is what we're used to. Okay. You can also, though, I have another side to this. You can have the parabola point either to the right, or you can have it point to the left. Okay. Then that changes our formulas. Okay. So vertex form, if it points to the right or to the left, will be x equals a parenthesis y minus. Now y always goes with the k. H is with the a, so it's y minus k quantity squared plus h. Okay. The vertex is still hk. All right. That's vertex form. Now, standard form. X equals ay squared plus by plus c. Okay. We're just switching x and y on these. Okay. And this time, C, 0C, is not going to be the y-intercept. It's going to be your x-intercept. Okay. Now, if your A is greater than 0, meaning positive, you're going to have a parabola that points to the right. And if A is less than 0, it's going to point left. Okay, so it'll go like that. Okay. All right. Now, focus and directrix. Right. This doesn't change. That's the same. You have the same formula here. Now, they're very similar though. Focus this time. Okay. Now, instead of the plus or minus C being with the K, it's with the H. So it'll be H plus or minus your C number, comma K. That's how we'll get the focus. And then the directrix will be, in this case, so let's say the focus is inside here. The directrix is a vertical line this time. Vertical line instead of the horizontal line. And that'll be at x equals h plus or minus c. Those are mine. It's a lot of formulas, and I'll give you this sheet so you can copy all these formulas down so that you'll have them. But now we're going to utilize them. It's not as much memorizing, though there is some memorizing, but once we use them quite a bit, I think they'll start to make more sense. All right, so now I'm going to work on some examples from the rest of this time. This is going to be a little bit of a longer video, okay? All right, now, first problem, write an equation of parabola, vertex at 0, 0. Okay, so that means your h and k are 0, 0. All right, and all you're given is the focus is the point 0, 7. So let's just do a little sketch of this. Where's 0, 7? All right, that's 7 up, right? That's the focus. Right? So which way does this parabola point? Up, down, left, or right? Well, the focus is inside here. So this is your typical parabola pointing up. Right? So you would start out with y equals just ax squared. Okay? H and k are 0, right? So I don't need to worry about those. All I need to do is find the a. And remember what the a is. A is 1 over 4c. And my C number is just the distance from the vertex to the focus, which is 7. So I have y equals 1 over 4 times 7x squared. Y equals 1 over 28x squared. Okay. Simple little equation. When h and k, the vertex is 0, 0, you just have y equals ax squared if it points up. Okay, which this does. Notice the inversely proportional. The C number is 7 in this case. A big C gives you a small a. They're inversely proportional. Okay, the smaller the a, the further away the focus is, and the wider. This is actually a really wide parabola. Compression. Next one. The directrix, remember that's a line. The directrix is the line, y equals 5, so that's up 5, y equals 5. The vertex is 0, 0, all right? Which way does this point? This points down. The directrix in this case is above the parabola. The focus would be inside, okay? I really don't need to know the focus. I just need to know the distance from the vertex to the directrix, which is my C, which is 5. Right? Now this points down though, so my A is going to be negative, so it'd be negative 1 over 4C x squared. So y equals negative 1/20th x squared. Equations of the parabolas. All right. Now, kind of going to do the opposite. Now we're given the equations. find the focus, which is a point, and the directrix, which is a line. Okay, but I always do a little sketch. This is a parabola. The vertex, again, is 0, 0. And this points y equals ax squared down. Okay? All right. So that means the focus is inside this point right here, and the directrix is up above at a line y equals c. All right, well, what is c? Well, a equals 1 over 4c. A is -2 equals 1 over 4c. Kind of cross multiply, -8c equals 1, c equals. Now you can think of c as negative or positive. I actually always think of it as positive because it's a distance, okay? But c is either -1/8 or 1/8. Right? The focus is the point right here, which is at 0, -1/8. Really close to the vertex of the parabola. Okay. The directrix, so that's focus. Directrix is the line above it, which is y equals +1/8. Answers. Okay. Focus is a point, directrix is a line. It could be a horizontal line, these two, or it could be a vertical line. I think that's going to happen on our next one. This is x equals ay squared. This is a parabola pointing which way? What do you think? Think about it. What do you think, Sydney? This one is pointing not up or down. A is positive and it's x equals. It's pointing to the right. All right. All right. The vertex is 0, 0. All right. I need to find the focus and the directrix, meaning I need to find the c number. And a 1 over 36 equals 1 over 4c. Cross multiply. 36 equals 4c. C is 9. So what is the focus? It is 9, 0. This point right here. The directrix is way behind. It is a vertical line. 9 away, 9 behind it. The directrix is the line x equals -9. Right. Focus is a point, directrix is a line. Could be vertical line, could be horizontal line. All right. Now we're going to move on to writing the equation of a parabola with a vertex that is not 0, 0. These all had 0, 0. Now it's 1, 2, and it has a directrix. X equals 3/2, which is 1.5. Right? Okay, problem number 5. I'm always going to sketch this. Where's the vertex? 1, 2. Now, which way does this point? Up, down, left, or right? The directrix is x equals. It's a vertical line at 1.5. 1.5. The directrix, I'll put it in pink, is this line right here. This is the vertex. All right. The directrix, right, is going to be this line right here, which is going to be to the right of the parabola. This parabola is going to point left. Okay. Points to the left. The directrix is a vertical line, in this case, to the right of this. Given. All right. So now, write the equation. You need how many things to write an equation? Well, you need A, and you need H and K, which we have. All right. Now, what's the base? Do I start out with x equals or y equals? Well, when it points right or left, you start out with x equals. And then it's a parenthesis y minus the y equals with the k quantity squared plus h. All right. I have h, I have k, I can plug them in, hk. All right, let's find a. A is 1 over 4c. What's c? C is the distance from the vertex to the directrix. C is a half. So A is 1 over 4 times a half. A is 1 over 2, 1 half. But always ask yourself negative or positive. In this case, it's negative A because it points to the left, because the directrix is on the right. Right? So now I have my three numbers. I can write my equation. X equals negative 1 half, parenthesis, y minus k is 2 squared plus h1. Here we go. Equation of the parabola. All right. Number 6. Write an equation. Given the graph. All right, so we're going to look at this. I have the x and the y axes in pink. All right. To write an equation, you need a and what else? H and k. All right. HK is the vertex. What is this vertex? This vertex is 1, 2, 3, 2. 3, 2 is my vertex. All right. Then what? How do I get my A? A is gonna be 1 over 4c. All right. And C I can get. C is the distance from the vertex to the focus, or the vertex to the directrix. Same distance. And in this case, A is going to be easy because C is 1. So A equals 1 over 4 times 1. A is a fourth. The distance is just 1. All right. Now, this is a parabola pointing to the right. We're going to go x equals a parenthesis y minus k quantity squared plus h. And fill in our three numbers. X equals a is 1/4 and the 1/4 is positive. Why? Because it points to the right. All right. And then y minus k is 2. Plus h. 3. All right. Problem 6. Now we're going to do some graphs. And when we graph, we're going to find the vertex, the focus, the directrix. Okay, and then get a couple other points. All right. So first, what am I going to solve this for? Am I going to solve it for x, like the last couple ones, or going to solve it for y? In this case, solve it for y. I'm going to divide by -4, divide by -4. This is simply y equals -1/4 x squared. This is a parabola pointing which way? Y equals ax squared. Parabola pointing down. The vertex is 0, 0. Okay. All right. It's going to point down. Now I need to get a couple more points. I'll make an XY table. I can pick any x I want, but let's pick a good one like 2. -1/4 times 2 squared. That's -1/4 times 4. That's -1. So I have 2, -1. Then perfectly symmetrical. So I'll have -2, -1. And here's the parabola pointing down. All right. Vertex. Now, focus and directrix. Focus is inside. All right. I need to find the C to get that. All right. So my A equals 1 over 4c. A is negative 1/4 equals 1 over 4c. 4 equals 4c. C is simply 1 or negative 1, depending. In our case, the focus is inside at 0, negative 1. The directrix, I'll put in pink, is a distance 1 away from the vertex, so the directrix is up at y equals 1. And here's our focus. So now, when we draw our parabolas, we need vertex, 2 more points, draw the parabola. Then we need a focus point, directrix line. Okay, number 8, we're moving. Number 7, I solved for y. I got y by itself, 1 step. 8, what's not squared this time? It's the x. I'm going to solve for x. So first I'm going to distribute. And I get 4x plus 12. Then we're solving for x. So I'm going to switch how I write this. I'm going to have 4x equals y minus 2 quantity squared. Subtract 12 from both sides. Then we're going to divide everything by 4. Everything meaning the number in front, which is hidden 1. So now I get 1/4 quantity y minus 2 squared minus the number on the end is 12 divided by 4, 3. This is how I want to write my equation, vertex form. Okay. When you divide, always divide on the end and in front of the parentheses. Never touch inside the parentheses. Now, this is a parabola. What's the vertex? Which way does it point? The vertex, this is in vertex form, is H, K. Remember, it's going backwards. K goes with a Y. So H, my vertex, is -3, +2. My vertex is -3, +2. All right, and which way does this point? It points to the, A is positive. It's going to point to the right, okay? This parabola points to the right. All right, so let's see, how can I get more points? Well, this one's kind of backwards. Instead of picking x's, I'm going to pick y's. All right, I'm going to pick a good y. All right, so that when I subtract 2 squared and times it by 1/4, I get a nice whole number. What should we go with? What do you think? How about, does 4 seem good for y? 4 minus 2 is 2. 2 squared is 4. 1/4 times 4 is 1. 1 minus 3, -2. So I get -1, 2. And then I should have a corresponding point. Remember, this points to the right. So a corresponding point would be 0. Now for my y, -2. Here's a nice picture of the parabola pointing to the right. Okay. Now, I'm going to get the focus. Where is the focus? The focus is inside the parabola, in here. The directrix this time is a vertical line to the left behind it. All right. Last thing I'm going to find is my C. Okay. And A is 1 over 4C. A 1 over 4 is 1 over 4C. Well, this is an easy case. The numerator is 1 and the denominator is 4. So C is 1. 1 over 4 equals 1 over 4. C is 1. That means my focus is 1 to the right. Focus is the point -2, +2. Right. The directrix is 1 behind. So that will be the line. The directrix is the line negative x equals negative 4. All right. Here's a complete graph. Last graph, number 9. All right. Y squared minus 12x plus 2y equals negative 37. Oh, what am I going to solve for? X or y? Right? Which one's not squared? X. I'm going to solve for x. All right? So that means I'm going to have my y squared and then my plus 2y and then equals, I'm going to add 12x to the other side. Okay. Then I'm going to write this in vertex form. Okay. I'm going to have to complete the square to do that. Right? Take my b number, 2, divide by 2, and square it. That's 1 squared, that's 1. I'm going to add 1 to both sides. Add 1. Right? And y squared plus 2y plus 1, I'm going to write it as y plus 1 squared equals 12x minus negative 37 plus 1 is negative 36. Now I'm going to solve for x. I'm going to add 36. So I've got 12x equals y plus 1 quantity squared plus 36. Then divide everything by 12. All right, I'll do it in pink. X equals 1/12. Y plus 1 squared plus 36 above it, 12, 3. Whew. All right. This one looks to be kind of similar to this one. All right. I've got a parabola is going to point to the right again. And this is my H and my K. K is opposite. The vertex is a 3, negative 1 this time. Positive 3, negative 1. Okay. Then what? Well, let's get some more points. If I have x, y, I'm going to pick y, a good y. A good y, 5, looks like 5 is a good y. That's 6 squared, that's 36. 1/12, 36 is 3. 3 plus 3 begets 6. So I've got 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. Then what would give me my corresponding point down here? Well, a negative what? Negative 7. Because then that's negative 6. Squared is 36, and I get my 6 again. So 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfectly symmetrical. This is a very wide one, which is a compression. Why is it a compression? Because the A is a lot less than 1. All right. So let's see about the focus, which I need to find CA 1/12 equals 1/4C. 12 equals 4C. My C number is 3. Okay. So that means the focus 1, 2, 3. It's 3 from the vertex, which puts the focus at 6, negative 1. And the directrix is 3 behind, which is the y-axis. The directrix is the line x equals 0 this time. All right, graphing. Number 10. We're moving kind of quick. Find the vertex, the focus, and the directrix. Okay, well, this is in no form. I'm going to get this thing in vertex form. What am I going to solve for? The non-squared. Y is not squared. Okay, so that means I want 2x squared minus 4x on one side. Then I'm going to subtract y and subtract 5. Now, we've got to do this completing the square to get this in vertex form, but my A number has to be 1. So I'm gonna factor that 2 out and write x squared minus 2x. Now I'm gonna complete the square. All right, by taking my B number, -2, divide by 2, and square that. That's -1 squared, that's 1. So I'm gonna add 1 to this side, but really I added 1 times 2, 2. So I have to add 2 to the other side. Right. And I'm gonna write this as 2, and the quantity x minus 1 squared. This is -1, that goes in here, equals -y, looks like -3. All right, now I'm gonna solve for y, 2 steps. I'm gonna add 3, -y equals 2. Add 3, and divide by -1, -1, -1. Okay. So I get y equals -2, parenthesis x minus 1, parenthesis squared, minus 3. All right, so what's the vertex? Y equals a parenthesis x minus h squared plus k. The vertex is 1, -3. Let's sketch it. That's 1 to the right, 1, 2, 3 down. Okay. A is negative, so this points down. If I were to sketch. All right. Focus is inside. Okay. What's this point? Focus. Well, I need to find what letter. I know A, and from A I can find C. Okay, so A is 1 over 4C. A is -2 equals 1 over 4C. Cross multiply. -8C equals 1. C is -1/8. My focus is down here. The distance from the vertex to the focus is 1/8. I always think of distance as a positive. Okay. What is the focus? The focus is 1, and then you're -3 and an eighth. -3 and an eighth. There is the focus. Okay. Focus is a point. Directrix is a line. In this case, it's a line right above it, not that far away. Okay, this line here. All right. 1/8 up, 1/8 up from the vertex, 1/8 up from the vertex, -3. So go 1/8 up, -3 plus 1/8. The directrix is the line y equals -2 and 7/8. Right, just 1/8 above. All right, last problem. Story problem. Your favorite story problem. The path of a cannonball. A cannon fires a cannonball as shown. The path of the cannonball is a parabola with the vertex of the highest point. Ooh, vertex. The cannonball lands 1,600 feet from the cannon, and its highest point reaches 3,200 feet above the ground. Write an equation for the path of the cannonball. Place the origin at the location of the cannon. Right? We're saying it starts here. Okay. All right. So we need 3 things to write an equation. A, H, and K. Do I have the vertex? HK. What do I know? I know the vertex. Right? This is 0, 0. This is 1,600, 0. This is perfectly symmetrical. This would be half 800. The vertex is 800, 3,200, HK. All right. A, I do not know, unknown. Okay. What equation am I going to use? Y equals or x equals? Well, this is a parabola pointing down, so it's y equals a parenthesis x minus h parentheses squared plus k. Now, what don't I know? I don't know a. I just found h and k. All right. How can I find a? I plugged in hk. What else can we plug in? Can we plug in a point xy on the parabola? Sure. We could pick 1600, 0, or maybe slightly easier, 0, 0. So I'm going to plug in 0, 0. So we have 4 plugins and we're going to solve for a. All right, so 0 equals a times negative 800 squared. Negative 8, that'd be 64 and 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. Plus 3200. Solve for a. Subtract 3200. And then divide. It's probably good to use a calculator, or maybe we don't need one on this. Let's see, 2 zeros cancel. All right, negative 32, that's negative 1, and that's twice, so 200. A is negative, does that make sense? Yes, the parabola points down. All right, so what's the equation? Y equals negative 1 over 200. That's your A times x minus 800 squared plus 3200. Now I will post all 4 pages of these notes for you to look at. I did go rather quickly, but it's hard because these videos, the longer they are, the harder they are to upload. And I know you don't want to watch a super long video anyways, so hopefully this was enough and helpful for parabolas, the first of 4 conic sections.